Hello everyone, and welcome to a showcase kind of thing of the MOCs used in the 2015 Labor Day special. We're going to start with Messinac. Now, this all started when I got this second hand. Now, the horns were already in my collection, but all of these pieces and stuff, maybe a few black pins, I got all those secondhand in addition to this, so that means I did not chop off this spine. I bought it like that. So, last year we had Solik in the Labor Day special, and he was really excited about Labor Day. So he would have to ask someone what day it is. So, that person ended up being Meso in disguise. And then the whole plot about Meso trying to kill Solik sprang up, and then a bunch of Three Virtues references ensued. This is basically just straight Vzoc, except without the face, I guess. I stuck the horns on there, and for some reason, the person I bought it from had used pieces from Nokama's arm, Nokama's tools, and also the feet down here are these two pieces are in silver instead of the sand blue, I think it is. And I think the pelvis is also supposed to be sand blue. I don't know what's up with that, but that's just the way I bought him. And then, of course, I did have a bunch of stuff that he did get. The motors in my collection when I was making Meso in Hero Factory mode. At least all the hero cores that weren't being used. Of course, I used a variety of red, beige, and blue pins, and I did cheat a little bit by having things that weren't necessarily red pins, but I was running out of those, so that's why that was like that. Now, I think that's about it for Meso, so let's move on. To LJ. And here we have LJ. Now, LJ is basically just straight Lewa 2015 with very, very, very few modifications, aside from the ones I had already made to the Lewa 2015 set. So, the first modification is obviously the addition of the irrigation Ben 10 tails, and some very subtle dark trans blue lightsaber blades. Now, the spike that he used to summon irrigation is back here with a rubber band, which I already had on Lewa 2015, so it's just kind of convenient. And the main purpose for the rubber band was to hold his weapons, and I also used that for LJ to hold his mangosteen blade, which I didn't actually spend too much time on. And when he does power up with mangosteen, it has another blade on the back. Speaking of powering up with mangosteen, I used Rocka's shield from Breakout, and I attached it like that to his arm. And I also used these gold Inferno bow pieces from Scarox, both on the back of his gearbox and on his forearms. On the side I used the gold villain cores from the fire villains that came in Iron Man on his thighs. I also used some 3-length gold armor pieces to cover up those exposed ball joints. Plus, I used these, I didn't really use these, but I moved them back for greater articulation. That's about it for LJ. So let's move on to the big guy. And here we have him, the big guy himself. Now, the big guy was just kind of a name I came up with because I couldn't really think of a real name aside from that. And the big guy thing was a joke about Bulk that had been made in, I think it was Savage Planet, about Bulk saying he wasn't just the big guy, and he has Bulk's helmet, so I made that joke/reference. I'm actually quite proud of this MOC. I made him a few months ago, and in the same buy that I purchased the VZOC, mostly complete VZOC for Meso, I also acquired a Midax Sky Blaster. Now, it didn't have any ammo in it, so unfortunately I don't have 4 silver Zamor spheres laying around. But I did have 4 green Zamor spheres in my parts collection, and this guy's color scheme consists of silver, black, and highlights of this color, so the Sky Blaster is perfect because it has those 3 colors. Now, he also does feature gray, but, that doesn't matter as much. Now, he mainly consists of pieces of the POWAAH torso, a toa+mata torso, some Rakshi pieces. There's a 1.0 torso, which is where it all started, was I attached some POWAAH parts to a 1.0 torso. I used rubber bands to keep these on the toa+mata weapon arm piece. Don't really know what to call that. The limbs are attached to the Hordika necks and are basically just CCBS. However, they do end in 2004, the bluish gray, and they do have fingers. And this one has a Nurak staff. I really wish I had the, I forget its name, Metruvaki staff. And this also has a hand. The legs are simply attached via the ball joints on the 1.0 torso and are entirely CCBS. And I also included this just to armor up the back a little bit and distribute the colors better. Unfortunately, I only have 1 POWAAH, so there's only 1 green rubber band, and there's this color scheme breaking blue one. And there's another one of these if he wanted to dual wield, and this one can also attach to his back. That's the open pin. Now, the other part of him is the Midax Sky Blaster, which I got a tripod kind of thing for it because I had taken these 3 blades off of Skull Slicer after he lost them in the animations. So I just did that. It's a pretty simple thing. And this was originally supposed to be in his hand, but I liked the idea of a tripod kind of thing for a weapon. For the scene where Meso does get shot, that took me so many takes, and I actually had 2 beige pins on the back of his Paraka feet, and these were on top, so I stuck him on the bottom so he was just resting on the toes and the pin, so that way he was less stable, because the thing was he wouldn't fall over because he was really stable, and I just couldn't shoot him down. Speaking of shooting him down, I didn't have this on the tripod in that scene to make it easier to fire. I was just holding it like that, pretty much. That's how that went down. So those were the 3 MOCs used in the 2015 Labor Day special. Put your thoughts on all 3 of these MOCs, or each of them individually, in the comments below. I personally am quite proud of them. Unfortunately, I will be disassembling the LJ one into normal Liwa because I want to use Liwa for videos, so I can't keep LJ together. Kind of the same thing with Meso. I'm just going to turn him back into VZOC Hordika. This guy I will be keeping together. I'm not sure if you noticed when Solik was making his rounds telling people about Labor Day, but there was a gap in the MOC display that I was the center of, and that's where this guy goes. That's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Do what you wish. Constructive criticism in the comments below. I'll see you guys in whatever video we post next. Adios.